Good evening. My name's Hayley Alderman, and I'm a sophomore at Port Huron High School. Tonight, I rise to address the board about two specific but related issues. Number one, I'm concerned about the approach the Port Huron policymakers have implemented to provide remediation for Algebra 1 students who were not able to learn in our test-driven math classes. First, I will remind people that test-driven classes are taught very differently from classes that focus on student experience and exploration. So recently, I was talking to a friend who was repeating Algebra 1, and I asked him who his teacher is. I was stunned when he told me a computer is his teacher. To our elected school board members, I ask, is it really all right with you that students who did not pass Algebra 1 last year have been put in computer rooms and are, in effect, teaching themselves? Yes, there is a certified teacher in the room, but he is fundamentally a babysitter. My friend tells me he and his peers simply keep retaking tests until they eventually pass. Is this plan not proof that in Port Huron, it isn't about learning at all? It's about passing a test. This has to be the most incredulous teaching model ever implemented. But wait, it gets worse. What will happen to the students who attain their algebra credit in the first semester this year? They will be placed in a second semester geometry class without ever having taken first semester. What happened to the notion that each and every student must attain a 70% on every test, and these tests must count for 80% of their grade to prove a student has learned? Suddenly they are skipping an entire semester? And what happens next year and the next, when more and more students end up in front of computers instead of teachers? How many computers and licenses can we afford? Clearly, the effects of this policy will undoubtedly snowball into an untenable situation. Now I ask you, Mr. Krewall, Mr. Herring, Ms. Damashki, Ms. Sheets, Ms. Chapman, Ms. Bayless, and Mr. Stout. Considering that approximately 1 out of every 4 sophomores at PH is repeating Algebra 1 through this disturbing system of self-teaching, isn't it time to demand sweeping changes in the math program? Don't these students deserve to be taught by a human being who will provide real and retainable knowledge? I suggest we all collect meaningful data and statistics and then hold an open and honest forum as one step to finding a solution. Because overall, these computer labs do not qualify as teaching, and it is unlikely that they will result in learning. It is time to remember that students are the reason for education, yet they are too often treated as a kind of inconvenience to it. This brings me to my second point. My needs and the needs of many fellow classmates who will not pursue careers in math and science are not being met. We were told last year at a school board meeting that advanced placement U.S. history would be offered at PH, and even though received plenty of sign-ups, there's still no class. Let's get down to the real reason that this school district is not concerned about subjects other than math and science. It is because they're not tested, is it? Whatever the reason, since there's a woeful lack of available advanced classes outside of math and science, we are left with the perception that you don't have a respect for our needs. Instead of spending so much energy and money on this failed math idea that was dreamed up one summer without any evidence or statistics to support it, we should recognize that the vast majority of students will end up employed in a field that has absolutely nothing to do with math. We must allow students who intend to focus on other academic careers the best possible start to their chosen fields. Finally, if I wanted a tree to grow to its highest potential, I would spend the most time watering, pruning, and fertilizing it with the nutrients specific to its needs. I would not feed it chicken manure if it needed ashes and fish emulsion to take root. I would certainly not spend all of my energy and resources measuring it with expensive rulers that in the end will do nothing to improve its chances for success. Thank you.